You guys want more? That's killing, because I'm willing to talk. I'm always willing to talk about this kind of stuff, because I am a student of the instrument as well. And now that this is actually like my living, it's very deep now. I actually have to make this thing work, or I won't be called back. Very dark. But anyways, I'm gonna make more of these videos. I'm gonna start vlogging again. Expect one soon. I just gotta really take some time and make it. And I want to make a good one. I'm gonna make a good one, make a good comeback. And I'm gonna start putting more trumpet talks and trumpet, just things to make trumpet playing easier for not only you guys, but for me. I mean, it's good for me to like always talk about what I'm doing, and because it helps me reinforce what I'm doing. But I try to do this because being a student of the instrument and how much this thing can fucking kick my ass. I mean, I always try to offer advice to the gigging trumpet player, like myself, who's got to make it work, and it's annoying. I really try to offer my advice to help all of you, and I studied with some pretty serious lead players, and they've really showed me, even trumpet players too. I started with some pretty Tony Galassi to be one of them. That man gave me one of the best lessons of my life. I want to talk today about warming up. Yeah, so I started making this video 4 days ago on like Saturday because I was warming up before rehearsal, and I had a heavy sesh the night before. So yeah, I had a rehearsal on Saturday, and this rehearsal is really interesting because when I get there, I might be playing the lead part for a little bit before the lead player gets there, and then he might pass me a lead chart from time to time when he gets tired, or he might not at all. So it's really weird. I really don't know how the situation was. It's a really good band, and I have to be on. I play with a lot of salsa bands, and I'm really trying to become a salsa lead trumpet player. I mean, for me, that's what I want to become. I want to become really good at salsa lead trumpet. I just love it. I really am trying to be like a lead trumpet player, but like I love jazz improv so much that like I would never give it up. So I still am always shedding jazz. I love jazz, all kinds of music, man. You can never go wrong. But anyways, so it's a really good band. I play with them in the church, and the lead player is ridiculous. He's really good, man. He's really good. He's got insanely fat sound, really great range. He really, like, if anything is out of tune or like I'm a little dull on my sound, he'll let me know. He's a no bullshit kind of guy, and that's what I like about him. He's very been pushing me like crazy. He's got such a big sound, like to really blend with him and like really give what the music calls for, like a little extra, like to really make those sounds blend really fat and in tune. You gotta play a lot. It's a lot of air, and yeah, man, I was blowing my shit like crazy. Musical moments like that, where, like I said, he really pushes me. He really wants that to be, it's gotta be perfect every time with him, especially if I'm playing second under him. It's gotta fill, it's gotta be in tune, or he'll say something to me, so, yeah, so I gotta really play harder than I normally would. I can't just, like, restrict myself. I have to go harder than I normally would, and when you do that on, like, 4 or 5 charts, you're gonna be pretty blown, no matter what you do. So I had been shedding a lot the night before, and I wouldn't say too much, but like a good amount, and, I didn't, so that morning, I did my warm-up, and, the thing is, what I like to do is I warm up, and then I wait, like, 2 hours, 3 hours if I can, 4 hours if I can, and then I play, and I've kind of actually revamped my warm-up recently, so why I'm also making this video. Yeah, I think it's always crazy, my warm-up's always, I wouldn't say always changing, but, like, sometimes, for, like, a few months, this works, then it doesn't, and then I change it. And then it works great, and then I change it, Sometimes things just don't work after a while, just, who knows, or, you like different things. So now, my warm-up now is, I really just revamped it, and that's why I'm making this now. But in general, I just want to say, the warm-up is the difference between, literally, it's the difference between being able to, last a whole rehearsal, or blowing out in 5 seconds. And even recently, my warm-up recently, it really worked. It got me really warm, but I was doing a little too much. Warm-up should never be too much. Should never. I know a lot of trumpet players who it is kind of a little too much, and it works for them great. They do all this, like, tonguing and stuff, like, great. If that works for you, that's great. I was doing that kind of stuff, I'd be, like, doing a lot of breath attacking, which I really like still. I'm still doing that. But, I was kind of rushing through it, and, like, I was doing too much tonguing and articulation and trying just to get too warm. Sometimes I feel like if you're trying to get too warm, it's a good thing, but sometimes, like, you'll start playing, and then you'll start noticing, the burn here, and you're like, I went a little too hard. And other things, too, but, sometimes getting a little too warm is not the best, solution. Like, once you're warm, yeah. But, like, going the extra mile and doing a little too much, you know what I'm saying? And, like, doing it too fast, too, is what my problem was, And, it's not that I was going, like, super fast, but I just, for me, I'll explain, like, what I do now that really has helped me. But, I was doing too much articulation. The horns on my face were too much when I was warming up. And, this is recently, my recent warm-up. And I didn't like it. I'd be playing, and I just it felt like I've been playing. So, yeah, I didn't like it. And like I said, like, after I warm up, I wait anywhere between 2 and 4 hours before I play. So now, what I do now is I do a lot of breath attacking at 60 BPM. Could be anything. Arbin, Clark, whatever. Just anything. I mean, I personally do the Arbin stuff. I just do, like, page, like, 14, 15 out of Arbin really, really slow. No articulation or anything. Just really breath attacking. Breath attacking really slow at 60 BPM. Really soft, trying to make everything feel good. And after that, I'll do, like, an F scale up to, like, a high C first, and then I'll do up to high F. Then I might do, like, a little tonguing. I might tongue it once or something. That's it. That's my warm-up now. And then I don't play for 3 or 4 hours. I also do really, 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 really soft lip slurs. And I do them, like, between 2 notes, and I even do this. They're all alternate fingering lip slurs, too. And they make my lips feel great. And they really align my chops to be able to play in the upper register and then get the right feeling and right setting for that. I don't know if I'm going to do those slurs today because I practiced really hard tonight, but I do those really soft after everything's done. And then I might do a scale one more time, just breath attack the scale. The whole thing is doing all of this kind of stuff really softly. You're making your aperture like this and this and this and this and this. So to recap it one more time, I start off that buzzing exercise. I do so much, I don't say so much soft playing, but a good amount of soft playing. I wouldn't say too much. Breath attack, soft playing, and then I do like a scale, a little tonguing, couple lip slurs, with lots of rest, and all of this with lots of rest in between. Then I'll do maybe a breath attack, maybe one more scale, and that's it. And between my first one, between all of it, I like to sometimes, if I can, I'll take, like, between the first initial buzz exercise and the next thing, I'll take, like, 20 minutes. And sometimes I'll wait even, like, 10 minutes after the next thing and try to make it march the gap. But sometimes you don't have a whole lot of time to warm up, so I try to condense it, too, if I have to. But either or, I always try to warm up and do all these soft things, really, fine-tuning things that allow my aperture to be really small, and then I give it the rest. And then when I have to hit it hard, we hit it hard. So, however, Saturday, so tying all back to the story, I warmed up, and I was running a little late, and I think I probably only had an hour that I waited before I played. I like to wait, like I said, anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, and if I don't do that, I find this shuts off. This shuts off. It kind of cramps up a little bit, and I feel like it's because I warm up, and then I don't give it the proper time to kind of recuperate after the warm-up before I play. That's me personally. And at the end of the day, that's the whole thing about warming up. You gotta find something that works for you. Not what works for, the best trumpet player, the shittiest trumpet player, your friend, your father, if your father's a trumpet. Not what works for them, what works for you. And I know what really works for me. That's why I'm always I'm always paying attention to how everything makes my lips feel, because I hate that feeling of when my chops are stiff, and I know what, like, causes, like, this giving out. And what usually it's from just, playing way too loud in a short span of time and not really keeping mindful of your control. What usually causes the blowout. Pressure, too, is also huge. And I really know what can make my chops work, so I always try to, like, abide by that. So like I said, always do something that works for you. And to do that, you got to keep your mind open. You got to study with a lot of people and, like, you got to just, like, look up, like, a bunch of warm-ups and see what works for you. Try them and see what works for you. And if something's not working, don't stick with it. Don't stick with it. My teacher gave me all this warm-up stuff one time, and none of it worked. And I was like, no. But I took parts of what he showed me and cultivated it into my soup of what my warm-up is now, my soup of warming up. I took elements from that, I took elements from, I take elements from everywhere, and I see what works for me, and that's what it's about. You gotta keep an open mind, and you gotta try things, and sometimes things aren't gonna work. So Anyway, since I didn't rest before like the full 2 to 4 hours before my rehearsal, so I was, like I said, I was playing this lead player, man. He plays so, full. It's not even loud. It's full. I mean, it's kind of loud, but it's full, and I have to play so hard to, be able to match that. And man, so 4 or 5 songs, and we've been playing for like 2 hours. He's like, "You want to play lead on this song?" And I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'd love to," being Mr. lead trumpet guy, I guess. But I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to. This is gonna be fun, man." And he's like, "Can you handle it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'll be okay." I saw a couple of D's, couple of E's. I was like, "I'll be okay." I sounded so awful. It wasn't even funny. But I wasn't mad. I lose. The horn kicks my ass. I lose, But I'm not mad because I've been playing for 2 hours really, really hard. And on top of that, I only waited an hour before warm-up. And the night before, I practiced just a little too much. So when I got past the first part, I didn't sound insanely bad, but I sounded pretty fucking awful. I was missing a lot of shit, and it was so funny. I nailed the last phrase and hit the last note of the chart, the last high note. So who cares? Like, kind of did okay, I guess. I'm just kidding. It was pretty bad as a whole, but I don't even care. If my lips were fresh, like when I first got there, I'd wreck the lead trumpet part for that particular song, at least. I'd be wrecking, but I was dead, and like I've really been focusing on, like, you want to know why I was dead? It's because I've been practicing so correctly and not trying to play with force, that I can't play with force anymore. After that rehearsal, I was bummed. I was pissed off, but I was like, you know what? It's something not to even get worried about. It's just like, shit happens. Like I said, like, the horn kicks my ass sometimes too. I lose. And I'm going to make a video about, talking about what happens when we lose. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I'm going to talk about it. You always got to keep your head up and just kind of be like, fuck it, I'm going to hit again tomorrow. Trumpet will kick your ass like that. It's just so unpredictable. And like I said, I know why I blew out. I was my warm-up was a little too much. I didn't rest enough between warming up and playing. And then I also practiced a little hard the night before. Chops are dead. And when my chops are dead, I try to play with force. That's the only thing that works. It's the only thing that ever works when you're dead is force and things. But since I've been playing so correctly, that's the thing I've been really focusing on, having it where the trumpet, I'll explain this when I'm making the warm-up too, is the trumpet is, my hands are so free to the point that the only thing that can make the sound is with my air and embouchure. Nothing else. And because I'm not used to that feeling, well, number one, since I'm playing so correctly like that, this gives out first. All your muscles here give out in the right way. You don't really feel it here. You feel it everywhere else. But you still kind of feel it here, I don't know, depending, but you feel it really everywhere else. And when all this gives out, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're screwed. If you're dead the right way, like, nothing's going to go right. So that's why I wasn't mad, and I that night, I actually did play with my friend's dad's band earlier, and that went well later that night. But after that, I put the horn away. Didn't play. Took a day off. I took a whole day off. I didn't give a fuck. It was a whole day off. I have some time. And in general, too, rest is something I'm going to be experimenting with more. Like, I'm going to go hard and then, like, take, like, 5 days off at some point. Maybe even, like, 2 weeks off at some point. I want to try these kind of things. When you play the trumpet every single day of your life for many years and you're not really getting the insane results you want, it's cool to experiment. So I'm going to, I'm going to experiment with some things. Besides the point. Either way, the trumpet will kick your ass like it did for me on Saturday, and I was, like, a little bummed about it, and that's why I didn't finish the video, and now we're here, and I'm in a better headspace. My chops feel better. I've been practicing for a couple days now, and things feel much better. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I was just so shot after playing that second book of that lead player and then practicing a little too much the night before, and blew myself out like crazy. Like, even I do it. Like I said, even I do it. We all do it. But the smart thing is, after you blow out, is to not keep going at it. Just rest. Come back the next day, or, come back a day later. Sometimes coming back a whole day later is so good, But yeah, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit of my warm-up now, and there's just a couple of things, like I said, with warm-up, find what works for you, and stick with it, And if it's not working, change it up. Find something else that works for you that makes this happen. It's all about what works for you. All about what works for you, so let's go to the shed. Here we are. Good old shed. My iron book. Page 13, yeah, so we'll start on page 13. And I said, so when I play now, put this right here. Right. I just have a standard grip. Like that. Index finger, I guess. Whatever this finger is. In there. And then I try to keep this as, and that's the thing, before I do this, pretend like your hands are as loose as possible, right? Your hands are as loose as possible. They're so loose. Now let's put your grip to it. They should remain that loose. And the whole idea is you can't use any other thing. Like, you have to keep this so loose to the point you can't use anything else except for your air and a good armature setting to make everything happen. So now, I think I try to play like that. And I just try to only use this and this. Nothing else can make the sound. A little disclaimer to that is, this is like a little aside. You know, you want to have just your hands are so free that if you do grip in the slightest bit or anything here changes as you're ascending or even playing up there, you know, that's where you're cheating. The whole goal is to keep this as open as possible and change nothing here. And if that's at high C for you, or like, you know, it's fine. High A above, you know, like A, like right above the F on the staff, you know. You know, say it's around there. Like, it's okay. Eventually, you know, you'll slowly work it up, and playing correctly, you'll start and like really focusing on soft playing and using your air and not pressing. You know, it's systematically using what you got, and eventually just keep building it. And building it systematically. Not forcing it. Ever. Not trying to cheat to get these notes. Just, alright, so then, you know, work your way. You know, you're cheating at high C. Find high C sharp, you know, correctly. And work your way there, and then D, you know what I'm saying, when you're practicing, you know, over the course of months, stuff like that. That being said, let's start my warm-up. So, page 13 of Arbin, I start with lots of, breath attacking. No tonguing, no nothing. Breath attacking at 60 BPM, very slow, and this kind of stuff. I do shit like that. I'm gonna do it again with another exercise right now. Yeah, I love doing stuff like that. I'm gonna shut off my click. Yeah, you know, I do stuff like that, and real slow, real methodical, as soft as I possibly can, just trying to make sure my armatures all lined up, and I do all breath attacking, no tonguing, anything. It's glorious. I rest for a while. Maybe rest for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna do some scale stuff, and that's it. Like I said, I already did my buzzing thing, you know, 20 minutes before this. And, yeah. And it's good to be, like, very lenient with time. Like, 20 minutes really means, like, 30. 5 minutes really means, like, 10 to 13. You know, like, that sounds stupid, but, like, with the trumpet, you know, if you're more lenient with time, this will work for you more. Be lenient. Don't try to rush this thing. You try to rush this thing. And that's the thing. I was doing all these things way too fast. You know, and I was, like, tonguing. I was, like, focusing on tonguing, too. Like, no, not before a gig. You shouldn't do that. Tongue. You can tongue a couple of things, but don't tongue like crazy. In my opinion, for me, that's what for me. Like I said, for me, I just can't be tonguing a whole lot before a gig, because I'm blowing this out for me. So that's why I love doing lots of breath attacking, and I might tongue a little bit. That's it. Crazy for me. So today's Tuesday. I have a really hard lead trumpet salsa rehearsal tomorrow, and then the day after that, I'm playing second in this big band, and the main lead player isn't there. So this other guy who's really good at, he's got chops, he's got great chops and great solos. He's playing lead, I'm going to be playing second, so I got to really be on my game. Man, you want to see this music? So yeah, this music is just like crazy. It's like, bruh. It's a high F in the second trumpet part. You know. Shit is going to kick my ass. A lot of charts are like this. It's very high second trumpet part, you know. And that makes me wonder. It's just like, you know, I look at the gig and I'll be like, yo, someone talk to the lead player and I'll be like, if he has a double A above this or something, like, yeah, I'll go for this. But if we're both in unison, I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna do you the favor and take this down the octave, so we're not both up there and always be musical, you know. Even me, like, I'm a very I love high notes, but like, you know, I'm only gonna do them if, you know, it can really be called for. You know, about making music, you know, the second, you know, you have 2 out-of-tune trumpets playing high notes, everyone wants to die. 2 trumpets in unison playing high notes, that is. Anywho, yeah, so after I do some soft playing, some rest in between, then, this is a funny thing here, actually. That's my new armature. That's where my old embouchure was, all the way to that mark, all the way to the left, like right there. That's my old embouchure. That's my new embouchure. Yeah, I also changed my embouchure. Huge. I'll talk about that another time. After some soft playing, I'll do some scales, and I particularly do one scale a lot, the F scale, or concert E flat. I do all 12 major scales when I practice, but when I warm up, I always like F. I don't know. It's me, concert E flat, my F. I'll do it, breath attack, and then no metronome for this, breath attack. I'll go up to like high C. I'm gonna do a little chill, make sure everything up there can feel good. So do one more time at the high C. Make sure it feels good. Right? And I'm just trying to make sure I make that high C feel really good. No additional forcing or anything. Now I'll go up to high F. All right. That was a little sketchy. But you notice I still didn't jam anything. It was a little sketchy up there, but I didn't jam anything, force anything. One more time. A little shrill. I practiced really hard yesterday, so that's why it's not being full. Also, some rest could help with that. I could see if it's coming out like that. Not rest for 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back, try to do it again. And that would end my warm up after that. I mean, it's doing stuff like this that really will save you. Because now everything feels nice, and then after this, I'll wait. Like I said, 2 to 4 hours. Let's do one more time. There it is. I'm gonna stop right there. That's good. I said I have a really hard salsa rehearsal tomorrow, and I have a big band gig on Thursday where I'm playing really intense second trumpet that killed me on Saturday. So let's hope I rebound. With the vengeance from within. I'm gonna really try to do well in that gig. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough couple days. I got that, and those two things back to back suck. And then so today, I'm gonna listen to the big band stuff and finger along and sing my parts. And this is gonna go back in the case because today I'm trying not to play as much at all. I'm just doing my warm up and then putting the horn away. Because tomorrow I have to hit it hard for a salsa rehearsal. It's the day after a big band, so it's hard. It's hard being a professional trumpet player, and day to day different things come up. So you gotta be able to deal with them, and yeah. So this is how I deal with it. One more thing. I like doing this kind of stuff too. So I'm just going one more time. I mean, that doesn't want to be full today, but it doesn't matter. It's not about that. So yeah, so then I'll go from low F and slur up there. Try to connect one more time. Yeah. So I try to connect that, and now I'll do a little tonguing. Actually, because I'm gonna rest for a second before I do some tonguing. That'll be it. And that's what I said. Before you have anything important, just do a little bit of a warm up. Today, what you guys just saw me do is basically what I did for the day. I'm gonna do a little bit of some articulation, but I mainly did that because tomorrow I have to play really hard, and then the day after too. So today is kind of like a not so hard kind of day, and like even too, I'm gonna try to experiment like doing even less, and see how I like even less. And I think I do like even less. You know, it might just be like, you know, I take out the horn, do the buzzing thing, and I play like one arbin exercise, like one slow thing with the metronome. That's it. That might be what my warm up might be for when I'm have something the next day that's really hard. So I don't know, but I like to do sometimes just do like, you know, like what I'm doing right now, like you know, I'd say like 20 to 30 minutes of just not much. To get less than 20 though. So like I said, I'll probably experiment with doing much less, but for today, you know. I also practiced really fucking. So that's the thing. I had nothing going on today, so I practiced insanely hard last night. I went harder than I ever have in a while. Still trying to keep good habits, of course, though. But, you know, I did like a bunch of range exercises and like endurance, and I played through a lot of stuff. So, you know, that's the thing. When you have nothing going on, so say it's like 3 days before you have a rehearsal or a gig. That first day, go as hard as you can. The second day, don't really go that hard like we're doing right now, and then hit it hard on that third day. And then after you hit it hard on that third day, depending on how your chops feel, if they're insanely beat, it might be a good idea to do like a little playing to get the swelling and get them back to homeostasis. But, you know, you can just put it away. That's perfect too. If they're really beat, you know, just putting it away is just fine too. And then taking out your horn the next day and being fresh with a good warm up. And, you know, so these are things to think about. These really help. In general, the warm up is huge. Like I said, it'll save you from, you know, blowing yourself out, and it'll always instill good habits, and it'll get you from feeling like shit here to being able to play and do a really good job. A guy named John Ruff has a good video about warming up. I'll have that in the description of my YouTube video. Everything that man talks about is spot on. About the upper register, he's like, the upper register is mechanics. It's good mechanics, good technique, and yeah, that's where he leaves it. He's like, it's good mechanics and good technique and air. That's what he says. The last thing he says is air. It's no forcing. Forcing is bad, and that's how we die as trumpet players. Before I leave you guys, I'm going to do some articulation, and I just want to say I'm going to probably make more of these kind of videos talking about really getting into some technique. And like I said, I'm going to make a video of me when I'm cold and doing my warm-up for real. I'll probably film all of that and put it up sometime. Lots of commentaries as this has had. In general, expect some more vlogs from me. I really want to start vlogging again. I miss it. So yeah, without further ado. Oh yeah, just being smart with your chops. Always being smart is how you conquer this thing with confidence. Also playing correct and having good technique is killer. It's good. Something that we all got to focus on, because eventually, you know, the fruit of your labor, even though it may seem, you know, hard and intense, it'll pay off one day. And even for me, like, I'm changing my armature right now too. I'll talk about that as well. But it's really been helping me, and like, you know, making a lot of changes to my playing that really need to be happening. And yeah, it all works out in the long run. And with wisdom and time, we all kind of get better at this thing. And yeah, so I'll leave you guys. End of my warm up. We'll probably do this. First, I'm gonna breath attack, not my tongue. Right. And every note should flow into each other. I know when I got to the high C there, got a little fucked. Doesn't even matter, but it was flowing nicely until I got up to like G, and then it wasn't half. So, everything should flow. You should kind of feel the notes lock into each other as you go up, which is really good. So I brought attack it again because it's a little sketchy the first time. Now I start tonguing it. Actually, I'm going to go up the high F1, huh? breath tag. Yeah, that feels really good. What's on it now? Mm. 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 Now it's time up the hi-hat. That's it. Now everything feels really good. And what I will do after this is wait. Yeah. I'll wait like, sometimes up to 3 to 4 hours, but usually 2. I like waiting like 2 to 2.5. One more time. So yeah, I'm good to go. I'm really trying to work on too, like just like tonguing. I suck at tonguing in the upper register, like connecting it all the way. So yeah, and like I said, I'll do that. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm really restricted too. I'm not like forcing anything. I'm not going hard. All super light until I have to force something. Yeah, it's so crazy too. Now I realized I can't play with force anymore. If I really try to force it like I've always have been, I can't do it. The only way I can do it, the only way I can make a loud sound now is just by lots of air and good armature. Like I said, if I were to have a gig today, I would try to avoid playing for up to 2 hours before I play next, and I would do a lot more of some soft lip slurs before I put the horn away too, because I don't do too many lip slurs, but I'll do a few and then make my aperture really small, really tight, and then to a cue twig where the high notes, it helps the high notes kind of lock in a little bit, and then after that yeah, like I said, I try to wait, I might breath attack a scale after all that just to get everything back, if the lip slurs kind of like open me up just a slight bit, even though you do them soft enough, they'll get you. But like after that, I like to, maybe breath attack one more scale. I'll put the horn away for anywhere up to 2 and 4 hours. I'll wait usually between 2 and 2.5, but 4, really great. And more the better. Yeah, so the night before I have a gig too, or heavy rehearsal, try to sleep really well, and then get up the next day, get up early, get a good warm-up in, and then get to my hit. Now, my hit's in the morning. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We have situations where it's hard to warm up, and I'll talk about that too and what to do in those situations. But, even then, I still try, like, if I have an early gig, 2-3 hours before it, I try to get that warm-up in, 3 hours before, I try to get that warm-up in, and then usually 2 hours before I start driving there. It takes me an hour to drive there, and then, So, anyways, I hope all this helps. Many more. Like I said, some vlogs too, so until next time.